Hey, in this video, I'm going to give you the 10 things that I love and 10 things that I hate about living in Pensacola, Florida. If you want to learn all about this, please stay tuned. All right, let's jump right into the number 10 thing I hate, which is the time zone. In case you didn't know, which a lot of people around the nation don't, Pensacola is in the central time zone. That is the same time zone as the Midwest. And it just doesn't make sense when 80-90% and the rest of Florida is in Eastern time zone. And I can't tell you how many times it has messed up meetings and appointments and things like that, just because people that don't live here just assume we are in the Eastern time zone. And number 9 is a small airport, which means very limited direct flights. So whether you're traveling from really anywhere, even if you want to try to go to Orlando, South Florida, you pretty much, on almost all flights, you have to go through Atlanta, you have to go through Dallas, Charlotte. So you got to be going like up and out of the way before you actually can go south. And it's that way with most anywhere you're really trying to go from Pensacola, because it's not a major hub and it's not a huge airport. There's just limited options. So that is certainly one annoying thing about living in a smaller town of Pensacola. And number 8 is red light cameras. And there's quite a few of them in the area, especially around the beaches and in the busy areas. So again, I'm all for safe driving, following the law, supporting, the police, firefighters, emergency medical workers, but I am certainly not in favor of red light cameras. And because they're in tricky places, and honestly, when I go, I know where the red light cameras are. And to make sure that I don't get a ticket, honestly, I speed more around red light cameras than I would anywhere else, just to make sure that I zoom through that intersection and get through there. So real quick, my name's Kenneth, and this channel is all about living in the Pensacola area. So if you're new and moving to the area, then you're in the right place, as I get to talk to tons of people just like yourself every week. So if you have any questions at all, feel free to comment, reach out, email, call, text, or we could even meet virtually through Zoom. So number 7 is litter. And when I'm talking about litter, I'm talking about on the side of the road, especially talking about beach litter and trash, people leaving stuff, and obviously stuff washing up from the beach and the water system. And then also litter as far as pet and dog waste. There's not too many things worse, walking somewhere and stepping in pet waste. And number 6 is bridges. So accessing the beaches, we certainly are going to have bridges, but we have a couple toll bridges that can be very obviously costly and confusing for tourists visiting and stopping at the windows, not sure of how they're supposed to pay and things like that. And then we have, the main free bridge, 3-mile bridge through from Pensacola, connecting Pensacola Beach. But this bridge has been under construction for I don't know how long, 3-4 years. It was knocked out during the hurricanes, and it's just still always under construction, and it's probably going to continue for a couple more years. And that leads us right into number 5 thing that I hate about living in Pensacola is the summer traffic. Obviously, our area is very dependent and appreciative of the tourism that we get in the tourist industry, but the summer traffic is certainly not something that's fun to deal with. Number 4 is rain, and it rains a lot here, and I'm not talking about just in days, I'm talking about in inches, but all around. On average in Pensacola, it rains 143 days per year, and that's roughly 40% of the entire year. So a lot of people think of Florida and Pensacola as always hot and sunny, and it certainly is hot and sunny, but we do certainly get a lot of rain, and it seems like that rain more often comes like in the morning through the afternoon. And number 3 is bad tourists. I'm talking about people that come here and just cause problems, whether that's problems with law, speeding, drinking and driving, trash litter, all those things, and people that just are not respectful of locals. For the most part, most tourists that I deal with are an absolute no problems at all, but it only takes, a handful of bad tourists to kind of give a name and give an opinion. And number 2 is hurricanes and storms. Certainly in Florida, that's something you have to deal with, but certainly in Pensacola, there is the risk every year of big hurricanes coming here, and certainly big storms. I'm talking about like tropical level storms every year, and typically the storm season runs much more around September, October. Those are the worst months for risk, but along those lines, you're going to deal with power outages, storms, down power lines, severe weather, canceled plans. That's just part of living in the Pensacola area and living in Florida. And finally, the number one thing I hate about living in Pensacola, Florida is the humidity. And if anyone tells you it's not that bad, they're either lying to you or they don't know what they're talking about. The humidity is not fun here. All right, let's jump right into the 10 things that I love about living in Pensacola. And number 10 is fresh seafood. And honestly, you get spoiled here by all the seafood markets, the access to year-round fresh seafood, and then also the opportunity to go out and catch even fresher your own seafood. So number 9 is the climate and the mild winter. Unlike South Florida, we actually do kind of have a feel of seasons here in Pensacola area. And what I mean by that is there's certainly going to be times in the winter that you're going to be wearing a long jacket, a sweater, a sweatshirt, where you're going to be actually be able to turn your AC off and use your heat. And we certainly have days throughout the winter, December and January, where we're going to, get around freezing. Golf carts. So with a lot of neighborhoods, particularly around the area, in my neighborhood and out on the beach, you're legally allowed to drive golf carts on the road. And it's just really fun to be able to go drive down to the grocery store, drive around the neighborhood, drive to the local park on the golf cart. And that's certainly something that my family, we certainly love to do. We throw the dogs on there, drive down to the local dog beach, and cruise around the neighborhood. And number 7 is we're a medium-sized town in the whole Pensacola metro area. It's about 500,000 people. So because of that, we don't really have a lot of the big city problems. What I'm talking about is heavy traffic, pollution, severe poverty. We don't have a lot of those. And number 6 is a military-friendly community, and that extends to the police, the firefighters, emergency medical workers. Certainly, I would say this town is overall very friendly to those professions, and it certainly helps having the Blue Angels flying around and having those Blue Angel shows. That certainly, makes it really cool. And then obviously, we have a lot of veterans in the area and a lot of benefits for veterans. And number 5 is things to do. And I'm talking mostly about events, festivals, entertainment. So we're not a huge city, so we don't have, tons and tons of options every week. But between festivals, sporting events, fairs, and all those kind of things, we do have quite a bit of things to do, especially, if you like to do those things outside. And number 4 is law, order, and freedom. I would rate Florida pretty good on all of those, but especially the Pensacola area, very good when it comes to those things, especially when it comes to running a business or just, living your own life. And number 3 is the cost of living. Pensacola overall is still relatively cheaper to live in than the national average, and then also as far as Florida is one of the more affordable places to live. Number 2 is outdoors activities, and for me it's about those activities, sports, fishing, diving, surfing, and boating, and pretty much all those activities can be done year-round in Pensacola. And finally, the number 1 thing I love about Pensacola, which may come as no surprise, is the beaches. There's so many opportunities to get around. Obviously, Pensacola Beach and then the surrounding beaches. This area, in case you didn't know, is called the Emerald Coast because of the color of the water, and then the very white sand white soft sand is certainly something that a lot of people enjoy. And that's a wrap on the 10 things that I love and hate about Pensacola. I'd love to hear what you think. You just comment just below. If you want to hear more from me, just hit that subscribe and that notification button so you know when my latest video drops. Again, thanks for tuning in. If you have any questions at all, my contact info is just below. Feel free to reach out. Thanks and take care.